note was already on his desk. Vincent DeLuca didn't hear anyone enter. Didn't hear anyone leave. Just one page. One sentence. You have 2 hours. He'd survived 30 years in this city without fear. But when he saw the handwriting, his hands started to shake. Because this wasn't a threat. This was a memory. And the last person who wrote like this was supposed to be dead. This is the story of a man who ruled with fear, and the ransom note that forced him to choose between the monster he was and the father he never got to be. The note was already on his desk when Vincent DeLuca sat down. That was the first problem. The second problem was the clock. 4:12 a.m. He had exactly 2 hours and 33 minutes before sunrise, and before someone died. The paper was folded once, placed perfectly parallel to the edge of the mahogany desk, right on top of his ledgers. No envelope, no seal, no fingerprints, just a single line written in dark blue ink. You took something from me. Now I've taken something from you. Vincent didn't touch it, not yet. Men didn't leave notes on his desk, not without permission, not without consequences. And no one got past 3 layers of security, a loyal lieutenant, and a locked office door inside his private restaurant without him knowing. Yet here it was. And as Vincent's eyes dropped to the handwriting, his blood ran cold. Because he knew that hand. He had buried it. Vincent DeLuca was 61 years old, immaculately dressed even at this hour, silver hair combed back, suit pressed sharp enough to cut. He ruled quietly. No flashy suits, no screaming, just control. The kind of man who played chess alone at night and always won. He reached for the note with 2 fingers, like it might explode. The handwriting was precise, careful, slanted slightly to the right, every letter deliberate, no wasted motion. It was the same handwriting he'd corrected on homework papers 30 years ago. The same handwriting from a drawing taped to his refrigerator once. Crayon flowers, purple sky, a crooked sun. The same handwriting that had stopped forever on a rainy night in Queens. Vincent sat back slowly, the leather chair sighing under his weight. No, he said quietly. The door behind him opened. Big Rocco, his lieutenant, built like a refrigerator and twice as quiet, stepped in. Boss, you called. Vincent slid the note across the desk. Rocco read it once, then again, his brow furrowed. You want me to lock the building down? No, Vincent said. His voice was calm, too calm. Tell me who came in here tonight. Rocco hesitated. Nobody, cameras show nothing. Alarms didn't trip, guards didn't see a thing. Vincent closed his eyes. Someone had wanted this to be personal. He unfolded the paper completely. There was more on the back. A child's drawing. Stick figures, one tall, one small, a sun in the corner, and written underneath in the same handwriting. You have until sunrise. Vincent stood so fast his chair tipped backward. Get Angelo, he said, now. Angelo arrived 5 minutes later, breath smelling of coffee, worry etched deep into his face. Advisor, family man, the only person who ever told Vincent when he was wrong. Angelo stared at the note, then at Vincent. This is a mistake, right? Vincent shook his head once. No one uses that handwriting, Angelo said slowly. Not unless they want you to. I know, Vincent snapped. Then softer, I know. Angelo swallowed. What did they take? Vincent didn't answer. Instead, he opened a drawer and removed a framed photograph. A little girl, about 8, hair in messy braids, missing 2 teeth, wearing a purple sweater 3 sizes too big, laughing at something just outside the frame. This was taken the week before she died, Vincent said. Angelo's voice dropped. Sophia. Vincent nodded. She used to sit at this desk, he continued. Right there, coloring while I worked. She liked purple, said it was the bravest color. Silence filled the office. Angelo leaned forward. Vincent Sophia died in a fire 30 years ago. The body was identified, the funeral. I know what I buried, Vincent said, but I also know that handwriting. His jaw tightened. And someone wants me to believe she's alive. Or worse, that someone learned to copy her perfectly. Rocco cleared his throat. Boss, there's something else. Vincent looked up. One of the night waiters found this in the kitchen, taped under a prep table. Another note. This one sloppier, faster, written by a child trying very hard to sound grown. Please don't be mad. They took him, why, brother? Vincent's breath hitched. They said you'd understand, the note continued. They said you'd know what to do. At the bottom, a shaky signature. Luca. The name hit Vincent like a fist. Luca. The boy's name echoed in his skull as memories rearranged themselves violently. Angelo whispered, how old would Sophia's son be if... Don't, Vincent said. But the math had already been done. Vincent turned toward the window. Outside, rain streaked down the glass, blurring the city lights into something soft and unreal. New York before dawn, quiet, dangerous, honest. Find the boy, Vincent said. Now. Rocco nodded. Alive. Vincent turned back slowly. Yes, he said, no matter what. That was the first rule he broke. They found him an hour later. Not in a safe house, not in a warehouse. In the basement of a burned-out church in Hell's Kitchen. 7 years old, thin, knees pulled to his chest, eyes too old for his face, clutching a purple crayon like it was a weapon. Rocco brought him in gently, coat draped over small shoulders. The boy froze when he saw Vincent. Vincent did something no one in the room had ever seen before. He knelt, brought himself eye level. What's your name? Vincent asked. The boy swallowed. Luca. His voice cracked on the last syllable. Vincent nodded slowly. I'm Vincent. Luca looked at the men behind him. The guns, the suits, the fear. Are you mad? Vincent shook his head. No, I'm listening. Luca's eyes filled, but he didn't cry. They took my sister, said if I didn't write the notes, they'd hurt her. Angelo sucked in a breath. Vincent's hand tightened on his knee. What's her name? Mara, Luca said quickly. She's 5. She sings when she's scared. She likes purple. Vincent held up a hand. What's her favorite thing? He asked. Luca blinked. Jelly beans, the red ones, and drawing stars. Vincent closed his eyes for half a second. Then opened them. They gave you instructions? He asked. Luca nodded. They said you'd get the note at your desk, and that you'd have until the sun comes up. Vincent checked his watch. 5:09 a.m. Less than 90 minutes. The next revelation came fast. Too fast. Angelo's phone buzzed. They just drained one of our offshore accounts, he said. Didn't touch the money, just sent a message. Vincent read it. You still owe me. Rocco swore, this is personal. Vincent nodded. He already knew who it was. The handwriting was Sophia. It was hers. The woman who had died in the same fire. The woman Vincent had failed. The woman whose body had never been recovered. His wife. And if she was alive, then this wasn't a ransom. It was a reckoning. Vincent stood, straightening his jacket. I'm not a good man, he said quietly, but I keep my word, and I don't let children pay for my sins. He looked at Luca. Stay here, Vincent said. This is a safe place. Luca shook his head fiercely. No, I'm coming, she'll be scared. Vincent hesitated, then nodded once. Then stay close, he said, and whatever happens, hold my hand. Outside, engines roared to life. The convoy rolled out into the rain. Sunrise was coming, and Vincent DeLuca was going to war with his past. Rain hammered the windshield like a countdown. Vincent sat in the back of the armored sedan, Luca beside him, small hands clenched tight in his sleeves. The boy smelled of damp concrete and fear. Vincent kept one arm steady around him, the other resting on the cold weight of a handgun he prayed he wouldn't need to use in front of a child. Outside, headlights cut through darkness. 3 vehicles, no sirens, no mistakes. Angelo's voice crackled through the earpiece. Location just updated. They want us moving. West Side, Old Freight District. Vincent stared straight ahead. They're hurting us. Yes, Angelo said, which means they're confident. Confidence meant preparation. Preparation meant blood. Luca looked up, forcing his voice to sound brave. Mr. Vincent. Yes. Are bad people always bad? Vincent didn't answer right away. No, he said finally. Sometimes they start as something else. Luca nodded, as if filing that away for later. The convoy turned sharply. Warehouse lights loomed ahead, dead bulbs, broken windows, steel ribs jutting into the night. The kind of place men disappeared. Vincent's jaw tightened. He had ordered hits in places like this. Now he was walking into one. They moved fast, surgical. Rocco and the men cleared corners, weapons low but ready. Vincent stayed behind them, Luca shielded by his coat, Angelo flanking close. Inside, the air smelled like rust and old oil. Somewhere water dripped steadily, a metronome for dread. Then a voice echoed. Vincent DeLuca. Female, calm, familiar. Vincent stopped. From the shadows, a woman stepped forward. She was thinner, older, but unmistakable. Dark hair streaked with gray, eyes sharp as broken glass. Hello, Vincent, she said. The room tilted. Isabella, Vincent breathed. She smiled faintly. You always said I had good timing. Angelo whispered, Jesus Christ. Isabella raised a hand. Easy. I'm not here to die, I'm here to collect. Vincent's voice stayed controlled, but his hands trembled. You're supposed to be dead. So was your conscience, she replied. Yet here we are. Luca leaned closer. Who's that? Vincent swallowed. Someone I failed. Isabella's eyes flicked to the boy. You brought him. You brought my past, Vincent said. Fair trade. A door slammed open behind her, and the world shattered. A man stepped out, tall, scarred, eyes pale and calculating. Katia's lieutenant, Dmitri. He shoved a small girl forward. Purple pajamas, pigtails, tear-streaked face. Mara, Luca screamed. She froze when she saw him, then cried harder. Dmitri wrapped an arm around her shoulders, a knife glinting inches from her throat. Enough, Vincent snapped, raising his gun instinctively, then stopping himself. Isabella didn't flinch, lowering. Vincent obeyed. That was the second rule he broke. You want me, Vincent said. Let the children go. Isabella tilted her head. You taught me better negotiation than that. She stepped closer, boots echoing. You took everything from me, she continued. My husband, my daughter, my life. I tried to get you out, Vincent said. The fire was your fault, Isabella cut in. Your enemies, your choices. Vincent closed his eyes. Luca shouted, it wasn't him, please, she's scared. Myra whimpered, Luca. Dmitri tightened his grip. Vincent raised his empty hand. What do you want? Isabella smiled sadly. Justice. The twist hit then. Hard. Isabella gestured to Dmitri. Show him. Dmitri shoved Mara aside. She stumbled but stayed upright and dragged someone else into the light. A man. Bloodied, bound. Rocco gasped. Angelo. Angelo's face drained. Vincent turned slowly. Angelo avoided his eyes. Isabella spoke softly. Your advisor, such a devoted family man. He found me 6 months ago. Angelo whispered. I didn't know who she was at first. Vincent's chest tightened. She told me everything, Angelo continued, voice shaking. About Sophia, about the fire, about the cover-ups, about what you did to keep the peace. Vincent stared at him. She promised, Angelo said, that if I helped, no children would be hurt. Isabella nodded, and I kept my word until you brought the boy. Luca clutched Vincent's sleeve. You said bad people aren't always bad. Vincent swallowed hard. I was wrong. That was the wait what moment. The betrayal had a face. Gunfire erupted. Rocco moved first, fast, brutal. A shot took Dimitri in the shoulder. The knife clattered. Mara screamed. Vincent lunged. He dropped his gun and ran. Bullets cracked overhead. Men shouted chaos. Vincent scooped Mara up, shielding her with his body. She buried her face in his chest, sobbing. Luca crouched behind a crate, eyes wide, frozen. Rocco, Vincent shouted, cover him. Rocco dragged Luca back, bullets sparking off metal. Isabella stood still, watching it all like a chessboard collapsing. You always were predictable, she said. Vincent set Mara down behind cover, knelt in front of her. What's your favorite thing? He asked urgently. She blinked, singing. Sing, he said softly, sing loud. She did. A small, trembling song cut through gunfire. Men hesitated. Vincent rose, grabbed his gun, moved. Precise, controlled, no wasted shots. The violence was quick, purposeful. When it ended, Dimitri lay unconscious. Angelo was bleeding but alive. Isabella stood alone. Vincent approached her slowly. You could have killed me, she said. I still can, Vincent replied. She smiled faintly. But you won't, not in front of them. She was right. Vincent knelt. Again, at Luca's level. You did good, he said. You saved her. Luca shook his head, tears spilling. You saved me. Vincent shook his head back. No, you saved me. Isabella watched this, something breaking in her eyes. Take them, she whispered. End this. Vincent stood. You're coming too, he said. She laughed bitterly. To prison. To safety, Vincent said. Or judgment, I don't decide that anymore. Sirens wailed in the distance. Sunrise bled pale gold through broken windows. The clock had run out. And somehow, everyone was still breathing. They left the warehouse together. Children first. Vincent's hand never left Luca's shoulder. Behind them, Isabella wept, not for revenge lost, but for a war finally over. And Vincent DeLuca felt something unfamiliar settle in his chest. Hope. The sirens never reached them. Vincent made sure of that. By the time the first blue lights crested the overpass, the convoy was already gone, slipping into the veins of the city like it had 100 times before. Only this time, there was no victory in the silence. Just children breathing in the back seat. Just the smell of blood and rain and burned metal clinging to his coat. Vincent stared out the window, jaw locked. He had won 1,000 nights like this. Never one that mattered. The safe place wasn't his mansion. It wasn't his office. It was the restaurant. An old Italian place tucked under an elevated train line, where the espresso was too strong, and the owner still kissed Vincent's cheek like he was a wayward son instead of a kingpin. The door locked behind them. Warmth replaced steel. Mara collapsed into a chair, exhausted. Luca hovered near her like a guard dog half his size. Vincent knelt. Again. What's your name? He asked her gently. Mara, she whispered. What do you need right now, Mara? She thought a blanket. Vincent snapped his fingers. Instantly, coats appeared. Simple things. They mattered. Angelo was laid on a table in the back, patched up by a doctor who asked no questions. He wouldn't bleed out. Vincent made sure of that too, because punishment required clarity. And Vincent wasn't done choosing who he was going to be. Isabella sat alone near the bar. No cuffs, no guards. Just a woman finally out of moves. Vincent approached slowly, sat across from her. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then she said, "Do you remember Sophia's handwriting?" Vincent nodded, every curve. "She practiced it on Ransom notes," Isabella said softly. "Pretended she was a spy." Vincent closed his eyes. "That's why I used it," she continued, "because I wanted you to feel what I felt." "I did," Vincent said. She searched his face, and "I broke," he replied, "and then I remembered how to be human." Silence. Isabella exhaled. Then maybe I didn't lose everything after all. The final confrontation didn't come with gunfire. It came with a choice. Angelo woke near dawn. Vincent stood at the foot of his bed. "You sold me out," Vincent said calmly. Angelo cried, "I thought I was protecting kids." "You were protecting your guilt." Angelo nodded, "Do it." Vincent didn't move. "I'm not a good man," Vincent said quietly, "but I don't kill for comfort anymore." He turned to Rocco. "Angelo leaves tonight," Vincent said. "New name, new city. He never contacts anyone we know." Rocco hesitated. "Boss." "Or I'll know," Vincent said, "and next time I won't kneel." That was the cost. Mercy that hurt. Dmitri disappeared into federal custody under an anonymous tip that included ledgers, photos, and routes. Isabella went with him. Not in chains, but with Vincent's word that the children would never be touched again. And Vincent DeLuca always kept his word. The reunion came quietly. Mara and Lucas sat on the restaurant floor, drawing with crayons someone found behind the counter. Mara drew a house. Purple roof. Luca drew Vincent. Big square, standing awkwardly beside them. Vincent crouched. "You know," he said, voice low, "this place isn't forever." Mara looked up. "Where then?" "Somewhere safe," Vincent said, "with rules." Luca frowned, "Like bedtime." Vincent almost smiled, almost. "Yes," he said, "like bedtime." They hugged him. Both at once. Vincent froze. Then slowly, he wrapped his arms around them. And cried. Short term came fast. Lawyers, papers, social workers who didn't ask the wrong questions. Vincent didn't buy his way through. He waited. He learned. He sat in tiny chairs and listened to people half his size explain feelings. At night, he sat outside the kids' room, pretending to read while making sure they breathed. The restaurant became home. The rule-breaking continued. Vincent stopped carrying a gun inside. Stopped smoking cigars around them. Stopped ordering certain things. Started making breakfast. Badly. Mara corrected him. "Eggs need more salt." "Yes, boss," Vincent said solemnly. She giggled. Dark humor survived. Years passed. Luca grew taller. Mara learned to sing without shaking. Vincent aged. He stepped back from the life, not fully, but enough that blood stopped finding him. The city whispered about his softness. The city survived. Luca learned chess. Vincent taught him Latin phrases at night. Mara wore purple to her first school recital. Vincent sat front row. Clapped too loud. Didn't care. The long-term ripple came on a quiet afternoon. Luca stood in Vincent's old office, now a study, holding a crumpled photograph. "Sophia, you keep her here," Luca said. Vincent nodded, "so I don't forget who I was." And who you became, Luca asked. Vincent smiled faintly. That part's up to you. Luca folded the photo carefully. I think she'd like us. Vincent swallowed. I think so too. The final image came years later. A different desk. A different man. Luca, grown now, found a note waiting for him. Not a threat. A drawing. Purple crayon. A house. 3 figures holding hands. On the back, in careful handwriting, chosen family is still family. Luca smiled. And somewhere, Vincent DeLuca rested, finally human, knowing the monster he'd been had given birth to something better. He spent his life building an empire out of fear, and lost everything that mattered, until 2 children taught him how to keep it.